What's going on, you guys? Back with another update. Today we got a box from our favorite partner. You guys know the blue tape right there, FCP Euro. Got a bunch of little miscellaneous stuff. Steering damper. Oh my goodness. Steering damper right there. It's a Stabilis one, or Stabilis, however you say it. Part number for you. And got some random kind of fuel lines just in case as I'm working through this car if I find anything. I do have the factory airbox mounts. I don't know if I'm going to keep running the factory airbox, so we'll get into that later in this episode probably. But also did pick up a fuel pressure regulator right there from Bosch. This is an updated one, and I don't know if this car has ever had it changed or what kind of shape it's in. So this is a pretty easy upgrade to do. It was having some issues cranking when it was hot, so that's kind of a common sign of the fuel pressure regulator going out, and super easy fix, so might as well just throw that in there once we get time. And most importantly, where are they? I was just looking at them. Here they are, the shifter bushings. We need those. I got 4 of them just as 2 for backup. My plan is I'm going to pull the actual shift rod out, letting the car kind of cool down right now. I just was stuck in traffic for a long time on the way over here. And then I'm going to use basically the vise to press them in. You know, I'll be sure to put something protective and then some type of probably like a big socket on the opposite side to let it actually fall through, and maybe like a Allen key or something to kind of guide them in, but shouldn't be too hard. People were complaining about putting these in. I can imagine super difficult when on the car, but they've got some give, and with some grease, synthetic of course, don't use petroleum based from what I've heard because it'll break them down, but as long as you got some grease and you know the power of a vise, much stronger than my hands, we'll be able to get them in no problem, fingers crossed. So yeah, a couple little jobs today. This shouldn't take long. Hopefully these don't take too long, and probably won't do the full fuel pressure regulator right now just because the car is hot. I'll probably do this tomorrow morning before I've run the car. That way the pressure, most of it will be released. I can relieve whatever pressure is still in the system, and I'll record it then whenever I do it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna get this thing jacked up and I'll catch you guys in a second. All right guys, so the 2 things we want to address, one of them being right here, is the steering damper. I don't really know what shape this thing is in, but it does get kind of a weird vibration when accelerating onto the freeway. Once it's going, it's fairly smooth, but you can kind of feel it a little bit. So I figured this would be an easy place to start. I know most of the bushings are, you know, like boots torn on some of them, but when we were testing them at the pre-person inspection, they were all still fairly tight, even the ones that had kind of torn boots. But obviously you want to replace those. I can tell like these tie rods are not in the best shape, so this whole assembly needs to be R&R'd eventually. But I'll start with this thing and see what it does for now. It was cheap, it was like 30 bucks. And even the rest of the assembly is pretty cheap off FCP Euro too. So I will get to that eventually. And the next thing is going to be getting this shift rod assembly out. So my strategy, you guys can see right there, that's the bolt that attaches. I don't know why it doesn't like to focus on that back part, but that's where the front of the shift rod is. This is what's holding it to the neutral safety switch, or I think so at least. This is neutral safety switch right here. So I'm gonna undo that and just take the whole thing out. Basically I'll take it out from here, or this bolt, and then I need to I don't have light, but there's the part where it attaches to the bottom of the shifter. So I need to get that clip off of there, and then I'll be able to basically take this out as one piece. So let's give it a go and see what happens. All right guys, so quick update. I was just gonna do that damper, but as soon as I started trying to loosen this bolt, check this out. Yeah, that's not supposed to do that. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna order this, and I'm probably gonna order the outer tie rods too, because they'll need to be done. So that is funny. That's where a couple of the noises I've been hearing in the front end were coming from. Luckily, all these parts are cheap and they're pretty easy to replace too. So no point in doing that one single damper right now. I will just focus on the shifter bushings. All right, guys, shift rod is out. Crisis averted. That was a bit scary. This thing, you really don't want this part right here that kind of looks like a keyhole. You don't want that moving out of position, because that's basically, you know, setting your gear in your transmission. And when I was fishing the back end out, I accidentally pulled it forward, so it put it into a different gear. And if I would have left it there, then I wouldn't have been able to hook this back up to where the shifter is right now. So yeah, luckily we got this off though, and you can see the bushing is basically a bushing no more. It's like I don't even know, but I'm gonna replace this one. The back one, I don't know if I can find like a nut and a bolt that I can fit in there, I will do that. Otherwise, I'll probably order the tool for the back one, just because it's easy to get to and it's in a lot better shape than this one is. It's still solid, so I definitely need to do this one though. So let's do that first. I'm gonna clean up this rod, maybe hit it with some rust converter, and go from there. All right, so my discovery so far, I don't even think this is a factory bushing. This is a, I don't know, it looks like a rubber, or maybe it could be an old style factory bushing, I don't know. But basically, it looks like somebody tried to make this. It's a little brass fitting that was on the actual rod itself, and then this kind of rubber grommet in here. So I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be the nylon, and I don't know if this is supposed to be on there. I'm gonna double check right now, but I don't think so. All right, guys, this is the grease I'm gonna be using. It's a synthetic grease from Valvoline. I got this, it was specified for something else that I did on the car a while ago, maybe for drive shaft something, but should be fine. Full synthetic is what you should use on the nylon. So basically gonna grease this thing up and use a socket on the back side of it, like so. Place it into the vise with the bushing on this side and just kind of feed it through. And we'll see what happens. I'll update you guys. Well, I got a couple of them in case I botch one of them, but we should be okay. All right, guys, just got this one done. Worked like a charm. Way easier than trying to do it on the car, besides, you know, a little bit of scariness trying to pull this off. By the way, I didn't show you guys. I'll show you after I don't know if I did actually. The bolt that's in there right here, it's a 10 millimeter with a 10 millimeter nut and a washer on the back side. So yeah, this one's done. Go ahead and throw it back in the car. All right, guys, just clean up the shift rod a little bit and hit it with some rust converter black. Fast drying, so it should be dry here in a few minutes, and we can put everything back in. All right, we also got the new clips, so I don't have to worry about those old ones anymore. And part number right there for you guys if you need it. Got everything off FC Bureau like you guys saw. So lifetime on everything, which is cool. All right, guys, all put back together. Clean up that bottom part as well. Got this side greased up and greased up those threads as well so they don't rust over. And I think, I don't know if I might reuse one of the old clips since I'm not going to change that actual shifter bushing right now. So I have the fresh one on hand. I don't know what I'll do, but let's go put this back in there. I've said that like 5 times now, I realize. All right, guys, just finished up. Let me show you what I did in total. Oh, tight squeeze. Okay. So there is the bolt I was referring to, 10 millimeter on both sides, bolt and a nut. There's a washer on the top side right there. And just make sure when you're pulling this bracket off, I mean, it's okay if the gears move, you're just changing the gears basically, but try not to move them and make sure it's either, I would have it in park, definitely, or all the way at the bottom, like in second, so that you know it's far bottom or far top. That way it's easy in case you do accidentally change gear like I did. You can easily switch it back to park or whatever gear you were in, second or park. So yeah, there's that one. Hard to see the bushing up there, but it's up there. You have to take my word for it. There it is. I don't know why there's too much going on. I guess it doesn't want to focus on what's up there, but yeah. And then the back side, there it is. Put the fresh clip on it. I greased that one up, and like I said, that one's still holding pretty strong. So that wasn't where most of the play was coming from. I will replace that one eventually, but it's kind of in a, even though it's wide open, it's in an awkward spot to push it out. So maybe I should get that little press tool and make it into like a 2-minute job. So instead of fumbling around trying to find whatever sockets and things I have here, I'll just wait and get that tool. So yeah. All right guys, not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous right now, but changing that bushing will have told us, hopefully, if our neutral safety switch is in fact out. Let's put it in the park. Yep. All right, well, let's try this. Yeah guys, it was worth it. I mean, the bushing was shot, but this was still pretty solid, so I was doubtful that that's what was going on. Neutral safety switch looks like it is dying, so I will be doing the bypass. Let me show you guys what I have to bypass that switch. All right, so in here somewhere, where I put it earlier. There they are. So right here we have an inline fuse. It's basically a copper wire with a spot for a small 30 amp, the ATC style fuses. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect and bypass. There's 2 purple wires. There's a 4-wire prong that connects into the neutral safety switch. And if you bypass by connecting or jumping the 2 purple wires, then you basically bypass the neutral safety switch. And that's what most people do when they're like manual swapping W124s, and is what I will do, so that I don't only have to start in neutral, because from what I read, eventually if it loses park, it's eventually going to lose neutral as well. So something that I want to do probably ASAP, now that I have the bushing in there and that didn't solve it. Definitely gonna have to do that now. So yeah, to be continued. See what else gets thrown in this episode. All right guys, quick little update. I'm at my parents'. It's super late right now. It's almost midnight. Got some test paint on here. Don't worry, I know it looks terrible, but I wanted to see how close from the different cans of black that I had laying around, if I could get anything that would match potentially. This has no clear coat on it. And I think actually, you know, sanding it down and properly doing it, not just spraying it on there, the black's actually an okay match, especially once it gets some clear. So you can kind of imagine what it would look like. See, the outer edges are terrible, but anyways, pay attention like that color and imagine it with some clear. It would be pretty close. But anyways, the bigger thing I was trying to solve right now is, if you guys remember when I first picked up the car, it had a leaky fuel pump, and fingers crossed, I hope maybe I just solved it. I basically just undid this outer banjo bolt a little bit, tried to tighten this inner one. There's a check valve that this banjo bolt sits on, so I undid this one to just give it a little bit of wiggle room, and then tighten this one down. This is a 14 millimeter for the actual pump itself, and then these are both 17 millimeter. So I held on to this with a 14, tried to crank this one with a 17. I didn't get this one to budge very much, but held on to that with a 14 and cranked this one, and I got it to spin about half a turn. All the times before this that I had been turning on the key to prime the fuel pumps, I would end up with a little puddle down here, and I just did it right now, and there was no puddle after I got that little quarter turn on there. So fingers crossed. If it doesn't completely stop the leak, it'll at least be a lot less than it was. But yeah, I think it might have got it. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, one little update. Guys, we got a problem. Can't go up on the window. My wife was driving and she said she pulled up on the switch and this happened. So let's take this apart and see what we find. Fun times. You can still hear it's working. So luckily nothing in the door. Just some switches. See if we can fix this. All right, so to pull this thing out, first thing you gotta do, there's 2 screws inside of here, just regular Phillips head. And once you pull those out, then you can pull this center console out. And then we gotta pull this trim piece off, which I'll do that off camera. Pull the little rubber thing out of here. You probably don't even really need to, just lift it up a little bit. And then you basically just pry on this up. I don't know if there's room to push this up, probably, yes. So you can do it a multitude of ways, but I'll update you guys once I get it off. All right, guys, well, window is up, so that's good. And let me explain to you guys what I did. So first off, after getting the 2 screws out for the little center cubby, then you can, I just pried the trim off this thing by hand. It's not on there tight at all. So pull that up by hand. Like I said, you don't need to remove this. They were showing that in the video, but it just literally slips underneath that. And then for the actual panel, you will pull it up out. I started on the back side. You just kind of go underneath this part and just kind of pop it up, and it'll release the clips, and they just kind of pull it out. It doesn't have a lot of wiggle room because of all of the attachments. Let me turn the key off. All the attachments for the wiring at the bottom of this, so it can, the easiest way to stretch this was turning it so it was angled like this, and then I got, you know, most of the clips undone. Now the clips that are on here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These ones don't really do much, and this one's kind of broken. Somebody had broke this one previously on this, but these 3 are still holding it in fine. And actually, Mercedes knew that these clips weren't going to last, and there's actually screw holes here and screw holes on the actual thing. So there's no screws in there, but they know that these clips will break, so they put that option in there so that down the line you can just use screws and self-tap these little plastic female holes. So yeah, basically once you get those undone, then you will have the switch available on its own. Close this so it's not my way. And once you have the switch on your own, you will probably be able to tell right away what is wrong here in this picture. You can see that broken piece down there, and the contact that it's sitting right over, that's the one on the far right that actually raises the windows up. So having that little piece broken, obviously it's not going to be able to hit that contact anymore. So I could try, I think you can actually buy this piece by itself, so I might just do that. The rest of it's still working good, so I don't see the point of replacing everything. I'm definitely going to clean it, but I don't see the point of buying a whole new assembly. depending on the pricing, I don't know what I'll do yet, but I'll check around. If I can get this piece by itself, I'll probably just throw that in. I don't know where I just put the, oh, here it is. Here's the cover for it. And this one's broken actually too, so I don't know. Maybe I will just purchase the whole assembly or see if I can get one of these with the white rocker itself. So anyways, we got a solution at least, so just wanted to update you guys with that. Don't know what video this is going to go in, but yeah, you can see like that's what presses down. Then when you try to pull up, there's nothing, there's no resistance on it. It just goes up. So I could get real MacGyver-y and go super glue that piece, but obviously cheap plastic needs to be replaced. Alright guys, a few days later, and the old one is out, and new one is right here. So I got this one off Amazon. It was about 30 bucks, and it came the next day too, which was nice. You can find them from anywhere from like 25 to 45 bucks. I'm pretty sure they're probably all the same thing. Made in China. We'll see if, let's compare the two. Let's take a look at the back side of the original. And here's the back side of the new one. Looks pretty good. I don't see anything obvious. I mean, it doesn't take much to make these. They're relatively simple items. So, well, this one's actually made in Mexico, the original. That's interesting. This one doesn't have a, I'm pretty sure it was made in China, but that's interesting. I forgot that a lot of the 163 parts were Mexico and in the Midwest. Anyway, let's see what happens when we plug it in. Alright guys, well, switches are in, everything works. Go ahead and show you guys. Oops, that's not the right button. There you go. Passenger side. I need to grease that window. That window's a little sticky. And the rear. There we go. Locks. Mirrors already worked, and child safety. So feel okay. They're not they're pretty close. Not as nice as the original, but pretty close. These buttons are definitely like the lock buttons. A little bit stiffer, but who knows? It could have been what it felt like when the switch panel was new. So they feel pretty good for 30 bucks, and everything works. Very happy with it. So yeah, job done. On to the next thing for the video. Alright guys, welcome to the next part of the video. We're going to be making another junkyard run to the pick and pull today to go scope out that 400E for a few other parts that I know I want to pick up. So hopefully they're there. Anyways, we're going to be driving in the C55 because I've hardly been able to drive it lately. So this is a nice long drive. Get to stretch its legs. Here's a cold start for you. Son gave me a good luck sticker on the way out the door, so fingers crossed that means something good for me. Things I'm gonna be looking at trying to pick up: valve body, some headlight pieces. I want the badges off the car, and I'm gonna check if it has metal cam oiler tubes, and if it does, I'm gonna attempt that job. I don't even know if I have like my 5mm socket. I think I do actually, so we should be good there. But yeah, rear mirror, other little stuff I'm gonna check, but hopefully it hasn't been thrashed more so than last time we saw it. It's kind of a rare thing for people to go look at, so we'll see when we get there. We had to stop and get gas real quick. You know the life of AMG. But look at this. $449? Bruh. Taxing this summer. See how much the total is. Alright, not bad, not bad. But normally this is as much as like a full tank. I think this got a 12-gallon tank or 13-gallon, something like that. But yeah, it's getting expensive, man. I have 3 V8 cars. Someone help me. Alright guys, we're just pulling up. There it is. Gonna get a spot and go from there. Yo, why did nobody tell me that they had wheelbarrows here? Just got here. I got a lot of tools with me, so this is clutch. Driving my new whip. Let's go find that 400E. You guys, we lucked out. I'm gonna be busy right now because I don't know if you can see in there. You probably can't, but there's metal oiler tubes. I'm so pumped right now. Let's get one of these off and see what it looks like. All right, guys, that was brutal. But success. And look at these beautiful caps. I'm so excited right now. All right, so it was pretty easy. All the bolts are easy to get to, except for that one right there. And shout out to Jerry the G-Wagon. Tyler told me yesterday to get those little swivel joints, but this is what I made do with. The Allen wrench plus the vice grips got it started. And then from there, I was just doing like baby turns with the Allen wrench while keeping my hand right underneath it and trying to spin it out with my fingers. It was probably took 15 minutes alone for that one little bolt. But now, clear access. I think these are all 10mm. Take off these cam caps and we are golden. All right, guys, got the first set out. Golden. Look at these beautiful things. So it turns out these bolts right here are 7/16. Pretty weird. Thought they were 10mm, but yeah, 7/16. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. I don't know if I should grab this top timing thing. It's probably not worth it. I don't know how old it is, but yeah, we'll grab the rest of these out of here. Keep them somewhere safe. All right, guys, so passenger side is all clear. Man, I'm so pumped right now. And driver side, somebody was saying that this side was harder, but this side looks a lot easier to get to, actually. Fingers crossed. Pull the PCV pipe off and pull the fuel hose off right there. It looks like this. I just used the monkey wrench. So yeah, just got to pull all the little Allen bolts off. These are all 5mm. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. So we'll go from there. All right, guys, both sides are off. Driver's side was a lot easier. Life hack for you guys: if you don't care about damaging stuff, take off the heat shielding. Gives you about, I don't even know, a couple more millimeters, but that is worth it when you're trying to work in a tight space. This was a lot easier than the passenger side after you get the hoses out of the way and stuff. So yeah, go ahead and get to work. Grab these. Luckily, all of them are here. I'm pumped. All right, guys, we suffered a battle wound. Not for the faint of heart, but luckily, the Mercedes first aid kit is right here. I got some band-aids in here or something. Let's see if I can get cleaned up. All patched up, baby. Like a mummy. A little overkill, but you know, it'll do the job. All right, guys, job all done. Somebody tell me, why did this camshaft pop off when I got that last cam cap off? Does that mean it was out of timing? Chain was too tight on one side? I don't know, somebody let me know. Why did that happen? That way I can avoid having that happen when I was doing these on mine, or when I will be doing these on mine. Odd. All right, guys, next up, valve body. Looks like we're getting dirty. I can try to find something to lay. Oh, actually, I'm gonna find some pads to lay down, but luckily I got shorts underneath my pants and I'm wearing my jacket so that I can take it off when I get back into the Recaros. Ain't nobody trying to get everything all dirty in the C55. So let's do what we can. All right, perfect. Practically got a little fort under here. Let's go ahead and start ripping this thing apart. Okay guys, not a good sign right off the bat. This thing has a hole in it. Yeesh, I guess it's worth pulling off, but if things look too bad, I don't know, man, I guess I can just grab it. It can be rebuilt, but that is not a good sign. Let's hope somebody did that when they were trying to do something else. It's weird that it has a piece of silicone jammed into it. Alright guys, well, that is just weird. It was poked through the pan and onto the filter. Strange, man. I wonder if that happened when they were like moving it and they just plugged it to try to stop the flow, but like the fluid in here still looks red. There was no fluid when I undid the drain bolt, but oh well, man. Let's get this valve body off. There's 15 10mm bolts all around, pretty easy to see, so let's get this off. I was just getting cleaned up, got everything kind of organized. Let's take a look at this valve body. Yeah. So I don't really have enough experience to know exactly what I'm looking at here, but it all seems there and it's not crazy dirty or anything. So this looks like a good unit. The whole time fluid was coming out, it was red. Hopefully you guys can see that on the time lapse. Yeah, I have a feeling maybe they punctured that pan when they were moving the car, or who knows, but I didn't find any like crazy clutch material or anything like that while I was pulling it out. So hopefully this thing is in good shape, but definitely have to take it apart and examine everything to be sure later on. But we got a win today. So man, I feel like I struck gold, honestly. Big thank you to this 324,000 mile rig, beautiful Q ship, beautiful silver majestic steed. I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, it's funny because, again, shout out to Tyler, Jerry the G-Wagon. He actually purchased a few vehicles from the owner of this vehicle. This one had been sitting for a long time. A guy had a collection of old W123s and this W124. And yeah, he actually purchased one of these and they left this one alone because it just seemed too far gone. So somehow it ended up here in Arlington at the pick and pull. And yeah, it's here. So I was able to salvage what I got off of it. I think the last thing I'm gonna grab before I go is the cluster, if I can. I think I left the tools at home, the little pole tools for the cluster, but I'm gonna see if I can rig it out of there somehow. But besides that, I'm gonna leave it alone. Maybe I'll grab this rubber trim. This one's in pretty good shape, actually. I might grab this one. It's in better shape than mine, so it's easy to get. I'll grab that, but yeah, I'll catch you guys once we're heading out of here. All right, guys, MacGyvered that one out. Just use the screwdriver and kind of pry it on the edges little by little. This one's in pretty good shape. The only real flaw it has is a tiny little chip in the plastic right there. I could probably repair it or just sell it the way it is. This one won't work for my car, unfortunately, because this is a non-ASR model. And a little bit different connections in the back, I think, for 93. I'm not sure entirely, but yeah, it won't work for my car, so I'll probably just sell this one, help somebody else out, keep the W124s going. All right, guys, damage is done. Made it out of there. They didn't even charge me for a couple things. They didn't charge me for the oiler tubes because they didn't really know what the heck they were. And I also grabbed like a battery strap. They didn't charge for that. So I basically just got charged for that, cluster, and the valve body. It's about $84 for everything. So I'm happy, very happy with that. If I would have paid for all this stuff alone, the cam oiler tubes, I don't even know what the genuine ones go for nowadays, probably like $300. The valve body about the same, and the clusters, I have no idea. This is probably cheap, but clusters probably expensive too. We'll see, but let's get out of here. All right guys, and before we leave, just got told to add 1 quart to the car, so let's do that before we head out. Woo, what a day. I feel like I just had a day of work. Came away with a little bumps and bruises, but nothing that won't stop us from continuing on. So I guess the only thing left to do is head back home, and yeah, I'm very happy with the things that I grabbed off of this car. Those cam oiler tubes are like pivotal and such a cool thing to find, because that's a pretty rare item to find nowadays for the M119, unless you're going to pay a premium. And mine, even though it has no ticking or signs of them being bad, it's got the plastic ones, and I don't want the plastic ones to stay in there long. So we're going to do the valve cover gaskets and swap out those oiler tubes here eventually. So yeah, here we go. Let's head home. So final part of the video here, just a collection of all that we picked up. Got the windshield washer overflow tank, got the 400E badge, and my plan actually is to do something custom with this. So if you guys have any guesses, let me know. A couple relays. This one is, I'm not even sure, honest. I just grabbed them because they were there and cheap. There it is, there's part number. Let me know what that one controls. And grab this one as well. Part number, focus, there we go. Next up, got all of our cam oiler tubes. Got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So 8 on each side for those. Those are, honestly, I can't even believe that I have these. There's the part number on them. 119 187 0087. I wonder what that, I wonder if they all have different numbers. Let me see. It has an 11 before it. I wonder if they are like ordered. Okay, something I didn't notice before. Yeah, they must be ordered. Like they go into a certain spot. It's pretty cool. All right, so I got all those, and random little clip, grab that. This is for the battery. I noticed that my battery didn't have the tie-down cable, so I grabbed this one. The tray is welded into the car. I was gonna grab the tray, but I didn't know it was welded in, so didn't get it. I can just scrub mine down and paint it. Got the valve body, of course, and I will be doing some homework on how I can kind of rebuild this thing and build it up. So I know there's, you know, some intricate pieces on here, so we'll see. I'm probably gonna go back tomorrow because I forgot the neutral safety switch. That's one of the things I wanted to get. And there's also some plastic pieces that I think sit on top of here that I probably left hanging in the transmission. So I'll probably grab them just to have. And the last thing we got today is the instrument cluster. It's in really good shape. The only thing I can find wrong with it is that little chip right there. But you could probably fill that in, like plastic weld, or just fill it in with some JB weld or whatever, and then just kind of paint it over to match it. And you really don't notice that part when it's in the car anyway, so do something subtle to fix it, and literally it's in really good shape. Even the back is in really good shape. It's got everything there for you. So another cool little find. And the other thing that didn't come from the junkyard but got here today is a vacuum modulator. So part number right there for you. So we're gonna swap this out on my trans. I'm basically gonna do everything I can before swapping out the valve body, just to be sure, and see if we can get that second gear to stop, you know, skipping past itself. So there could be something lodged in the valve body basically, and it could come loose with more and more driving. From what I read, the best way to do that is just to keep like putting it into second gear. It'll start in first, like from a stop, put it in second gear. It'll start in first, and you just basically slowly climb the RPMs up and just try to get it to shift in a second. So I've been trying that each time I drive it. I try to do that a couple times and see if it'll go, but no luck so far. But again, the car's been sitting for a long time, and I wasn't really aware of the issue until recently. I just thought it was kind of being laggy, but then I actually started paying attention and noticed that it was skipping second. So we'll get it figured out. And if not, then we will swap this in after we build it up. It'd be cool to do like a little valve body build series and get this thing souped up as much as we could. Got a nice bandage on, by the way. My wife was scared when I got home. My hand was all bloody. But yeah, that'll do it. So anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed the last few videos. They've been really dedicated to the E420, among a few little fixes and some content today with C55, I guess. But yeah, I'm really trying to get this car rolling so that come September, wintertime, etc., it can be my daily cruiser. So yeah, just bear with me. The other content is coming for those cars, and definitely this summer you're still going to see some videos for those cars. But yeah, E420 has the focus right now, so that's why all the videos have been coming at you with that. Hope you guys are enjoying though. I know there's a lot of W124 lovers out there. I'm converted for sure myself, and cool to be able to make this stuff and to find these things today was really cool, a lot of fun. So yeah, see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.